Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and today's show presented by Manscaped. I know we're talking about trading away Aidan O'Connell, but to make sure that you don't get traded away, make sure your ball's down there looking great. Manscaped's going to help you do it. Manscaped.com, code Raiders, 20% off and free shipping on the best male grooming products out there. That link's going to be available to y'all down in the comments and in the description of today's show. So coming up here, I am a believer that there is a chance the Raiders trade Aidan O'Connell this offseason. I'm not saying they're going to trade him now. In fact, I think it doesn't make any sense to trade Aidan O'Connell now. This entire idea of them moving on from Aidan is either on draft night or after the 2024 NFL draft. And I know people are going to get upset, and people are going to be like, oh, Mitch, you don't like Aidan. I love Aidan. I love everything that guy represents. When you talk about a football player that was an 8th-string quarterback at Purdue, worked his way to be a starter, the fact that he was the 3rd-string quarterback last year for the Raiders, worked his way or kind of got the job because the other two guys were terrible, it's hard to not root for a guy like Aidan. But when I do this show, I do it with the mindset of I'm not going to fall in love with players. It is the shield above everything else, and I am 100% on board with the idea of there is a chance that Aidan could get traded after the NFL draft. And after watching today's show, if you don't agree with that, then I think that you're just an Aidan homer. And that's okay, but I'm a Raider homer. So coming up here, why Aidan could be traded this offseason, because there is one thing that we talk about basically every live show. There's one thing that continues to get circulated out there on social media that people just aren't adding 2 and 2 together. And to me, when you add 1 + 1, it equals Aidan O'Connell getting traded, and we'll talk about it here in just a second. But here's the thing that I really want to say, because if you're looking for daily Raiders videos, if you're looking for live shows where we're going to have a good time and we're going to chop it up, talk Raiders football, hit that subscribe button. If you get upset about me talking about a topic in the offseason, then don't subscribe. I don't want to hear bitching and moaning. I don't want to hear, oh, Mitch is talking about trading Aidan. Let's have an adult conversation. You can disagree with me. Just have an adult conversation about it. Don't insult me. Don't say horrible things to each other. All we're trying to do is create free content every single day around the team that we love. If you're on board for that, subscribe. If this video offends you, life's going to be tough. Don't hit that sub button. So coming up here, why Aidan could be traded this offseason. And it's not likely. It's not likely at all. In fact, I would say that there is just as likely of a chance that the Raiders trade up for Jayden Daniels as there is a chance that the Raiders trade away Aidan O'Connell. And the reason why that I say that is this. If the Las Vegas Raiders, if the silver and black go out and you trade up and you go get your guy Jayden Daniels, or if you end up taking a quarterback like Michael Penix Jr., that is why you can move on from AOC. Because at one point, like, if it's going to be an open quarterback battle between Aidan and Gardner Minshew, that's a quarterback battle. If you then add your rookie quarterback into that mix, call me crazy, I think Jayden's beating out Aidan O'Connell. And if anybody out there is like, no, Jayden's not beating out Aidan, then you don't trade up all those picks to get him. If you don't think that the Heisman Trophy winner is beating out Aidan O'Connell for a starting job, he doesn't even deserve to go in the top 10. So why would you even trade up for him? My thing is, if you trade up all those picks and AP gets his guy, yes, there is a world of a possibility that Jayden doesn't start this year. And the Raiders have said that they might be willing to have that quarterback sick for a year. But here's the thing. Aidan's still not going to be the starter. It's going to be Gardner Minshew then. So, I'm so confident in Jayden's ability to not only be a passer, he's gotten better, but also his ability as a runner. And there's just not a world that I live in that doesn't think that Jayden beats out Gardner, that Jayden beats out Aidan O'Connell. Hell, I know that I'm not as high on Michael Penix Jr. as some other people that are out there, but we got to call a spade here. Is Michael Penix Jr. a better quarterback than Gardner Minshew? I think he's going to be a better quarterback than Gardner Minshew. Is Michael Penix Jr. a better quarterback than Aidan O'Connell? I think he's going to be a better quarterback than Aidan O'Connell. So if the Raiders draft either of those two guys, then the Raiders clearly believe that they need a franchise quarterback. You're not giving up 3 first-round picks for Jayden, and you're not going to take a quarterback at potentially pick 13, or you might even have to trade up a little bit for Penix if you are 100% confident in the current quarterbacks that you have. And AP has said it, that they want an athlete who can run the football, that they don't want a Band-Aid, that they want somebody that can be a franchise quarterback for the next 10 years. No disrespect to Gardner. No disrespect to Aidan. They're not one of those guys. Penix, maybe. Jayden Daniels, maybe. And because of all those reasons, if you draft one of those two dudes, Aidan, I'm sorry, you have a chance to get traded. So So here's your opportunity to be honest with me. If the Raiders end up drafting Jayden Daniels or Michael Penix Jr., would it be smart to move on from Aidan O'Connell? Give me a yes, or I want you to give me a no down below. And this is going to be the pinned comment. And if you answer yes to this, that doesn't mean you hate Aidan O'Connell. It just means that we're having an honest conversation. And after this YouTube ad break is going to be my answer. If you waited that ad break and you didn't know this answer is yes, then you definitely should not subscribe to this show. Of course the Raiders should move on from Aidan, but it's also the right thing to do for Aidan. And if the Raiders do actually care about him as a human being, then yes, you move on from him every single day of the week because you know that he's not going to be anything more than a quarterback 3. The other reason here of why I believe the Raiders could trade Aidan O'Connell is this team decided to sign Gardner Minshew. What did they do the first day of free agency? They went out, they got Christian Wilkins. What was the other biggest thing that they did? Because they really haven't done anything this offseason. They went out and they signed Gardner Minshew. That speaks volumes to me. And do I think Gardner is a elite starting quarterback? No. Do I think he's a fringe top 25 quarterback? Yes, I do. Do I think Gardner is a better quarterback than Aidan O'Connell? Yes, I do. Do I think that Aidan and Gardner is going to be a hell of a quarterback battle if the Raiders don't end up getting a quarterback? Yes, I do. But the fact that this regime decided one of their biggest needs was to go out and give the biggest contract to the backup quarterback market, that was their need. Actions speak louder than words. When you give Gardner 2 years, $25 million with $15 million guaranteed, that tells me one thing, that the Raiders thought it was a big need. They decided to bring back Andre James. They have decided to really focus on defensive tackle. They went out, they got themselves a quarterback in Gardner Minshew. That is everything that they were doing. And they were trying to bring back some of their guys like an Isaiah Paulomeo, an Adam Butler, a John Jenkins. They made their priorities very, very clear. And the fact that the Raiders gave Gardner $15 million guaranteed, that tells me if they draft a quarterback, Gardner's the quarterback too. So that means either Aidan's beating out Penix or Aidan's beating out Jayden. And I don't think either of those situations are going to happen. So coming up here, I got more reasons why Aidan O'Connell could be traded. And making this video, I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for it, and that's okay to me. But when I do this show and when people think about what the Raiders report is and what being a Raider fan is, it's you can't put a player above the shield. Simple as that. Also, if you guys want to see my shield, it's pretty shiny right now. Why? Because I use Manscaped. And I want you guys to use Manscaped too. 20% off. All you got to do is use promo code Raiders, and you're also going to get free shipping on top of that. On top of everything that Manscaped offers, the month of April, I know that some people that watch the show a lot know that I've had a lot of family members pass away from cancer, and cancer, it sucks. No doubt about it. And did you know that one man every hour, every day is diagnosed with testicular cancer? In fact, testicular cancer is the most common form of cancer amongst men aged 15 to 35. With April being National Testicular Cancer Awareness Month, our friends at Manscaped have partnered with the Testicular Cancer Society to help spread awareness for men's health and early cancer detection. Visit manscaped.com/TCS, which you guys can see right now down in the comments and in the description, to learn how to check yourself for early signs of cancer. As always, you can also use promo code Raiders for 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. In addition to providing the right tools and solutions for comfortable and easy grooming, Manscaped is committed to raising awareness and giving support for fighters, survivors, and families impacted by testicular cancer. That is why they're going to be donating $50,000 to the Testicular Cancer Society. Help save lives and balls by going over to manscaped.com/TCS and sharing their funny, educational, check yourself video. While you're at it, grab your nuts and 20% off, plus free shipping with code Raiders, because like a famous American philosopher once said, take care of your chicken, your balls, and your mentals. And I think that y'all would be insane not to go down to manscaped.com, but also on top of that, why not support a good cause? Make sure your balls are looking good. And I think sometimes when you do a show like this, it's a good reminder that you guys should go get your checkups, that you should go to manscaped.com/TCS, just because nobody thinks that it's ever going to happen to them. And I've had a lot of people that it has happened to them. So make sure you guys are taking care of yourself. Make sure your balls are looking great. Manscaped.com, code Raiders. Here we go. Next reason why I believe that there's a chance that Aidan could get traded is because Aidan's not a quarterback 3. in the world of Raiders content creators, I'm probably the one that's the lowest on how good I think Aidan is. I'll also say that I think I'm the most real on how good Aidan is, where I don't view him as a top 32 quarterback. He's not a starting caliber quarterback. He is a really good backup. I'll also say this, though. He's not a quarterback 3. So if you draft a Penix, if you draft a Jayden Daniels, and because the money you gave Gardner Minshew, he's quarterback 2, it's a disservice to your roster, and it's a disservice to Aidan to put him at quarterback 3. Like, if you keep AOC as your quarterback 3, it's a loss of value, and it's not something that you said you were going to do. If you're going to do right by your guys, it's not smart to keep Aidan as your quarterback 3. What's smarter is to trade him away and get a little bit of extra draft capital. And I know the Raiders respect Aidan. I know the players respect Aidan. There is nobody inside of that locker room that does not love number 4. And I'll also say that there isn't 64 quarterbacks better than Aidan. So because there's not 64 better quarterbacks out there, there will be a market for him. I don't think that it's going to be a market nearly as high as some of the people that I see in the live comments right now. But, like, if you know that you're going to have a quarterback 3, could you trade away Aidan for an extra depth piece, maybe on defense, maybe an extra depth piece that wide receiver at the offensive line position? Could you just trade him for an extra draft capital and, get picks that this regime wants? Because I know we love Aidan, but this regime did not draft Aidan. And Aidan is the perfect quarterback for a Josh McDaniels system. Like, that's why Aidan was picked. And for AP to say that he wants a quarterback that can use his legs, I'll tell you this, Aidan, that's never going to be him. So if you end up drafting a Jayden Daniels, guess what? Jayden's going to be your quarterback 1. Gardner's going to be your quarterback 2 based on the $15 million guaranteed that they already gave him. If you end up drafting a Michael Penix Jr., well, then guess what? Michael's probably going to be the QB 1. Gardner's going to be the QB 2. Now, there is a scenario that Gardner and Aidan battle it out for QB 1, and Penix is just sitting back, and Jayden's just sitting back for a year. But, like, if you put Gardner and Aidan in a quarterback battle the entire offseason, I am putting my money on Gardner. Why? That's the guy that they would want to succeed, and I don't think that they're going to put Penix or Jayden as that quarterback 3. We're going to keep it rolling here of why Aidan could potentially get traded this offseason. But if you don't already know, shout out to the Noti Gang. The Noti Gang are people that are subscribed, people that are hitting that notification bell and taking pride on themselves to be the very first comment that I love when people see the video and they want to go comment right away. It helps me out, but it also shows me, like, what people are actually doing what I tell them to do, which, believe it or not, I do appreciate. So Madvet, Isaac, Matt, to the Queen, BO3, salute to all you. And if you want to see your name on a future show, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and it's every time I drop a video, try to be the first to comment. Let's go to the next one here. Teams would be interested. There's no doubt in my mind that there would be teams out there that would be interested in Aidan O'Connell. And some of these AOC trade destinations, like the number 1 team to me that would be the most interested is the Los Angeles Rams, which might surprise some of y'all because you're going to be like, well, didn't they just sign Jimmy Garoppolo to a 1-year, $4 million deal? My answer to that is yes, they did. But nobody really thinks that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be able to stay healthy, do they? I know I don't. I also know that the Rams wanted to be able to have a young quarterback. They drafted Stetson Bennett, round 4 pick 128, 7 picks before Aidan O'Connell. And with Matthew Stafford's injury history, with Jimmy Garoppolo's injury history, if you could get an extra quarterback like Aidan to be a little bit more of security, I think it's worthwhile. He's better than Sean Clifford, their quarterback too. Miami Dolphins have Mike White. I think Aidan's probably better than Mike White, and Tua gets injured all the time. And then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they have Baker Mayfield, and then the next guy is Kyle Trask. Aidan is an upgrade over Kyle Trask. So because these are the only 4 teams, like, these are legitimately the only 4 teams in the NFL that Aidan O'Connell is better than their backup quarterback. And because of that, I could see these 4 teams saying, you know what, we'll give you a late round pick, and then that way we can take Aidan off your hands here a little bit. And because you could also get the extra draft capital. That's the final reason of why the Raiders could trade Aidan. And whether that draft capital is on draft night, like if a team ended up picking up the phone and saying, hey, we'll give you a 6th round pick for Aidan, I think the Raiders would say yes, honestly. So would the draft capital be the following year if you already took your quarterbacks and then, it's in the 2025 draft? Well, then that conversation changes a little bit of what Aidan's value is from top to bottom. So my question to you is this. Before I tell you what I think Aidan's value is, if the Raiders were to trade him, what is he worth in a trade? Is he worth a first-round pick? Is he worth a second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, or seventh? Let me know down below after this YouTube ad break my answer. If the Raiders were to trade Aidan O'Connell before the NFL draft, I would say that there would be a team then that is going out looking for Aidan. And because they're going out and looking for Aidan, it's a fifth-round pick. If it's during the NFL draft just to get a deal done, I would say a sixth-round pick would probably be what you get. If it's after the draft, this is a seventh-round pick in the 2025 NFL draft. Because at that point, you got to think of Justin Fields went for a sixth. This would be a yard sale, and then they would decide to move on from AOC. So all five of those reasons are why that I believe that if the Raiders are legitimate and they take Jayden, or if they take Penix, that they can move on from Aidan. That's it. Like, if the Raiders don't end up taking a quarterback, they're not trading Aidan O'Connell. It doesn't make sense to trade Aidan. But my biggest point of this entire show is Aidan's not a quarterback 3. You could get value for him, and it would be a disservice to put Aidan as a quarterback 3 on your roster. If you want to do right by a young man that you say is a stand-up dude, and he is a stand-up guy, and you already are showing everybody that you value Gardner more, and then if you pick a quarterback in the top 13, that tells you what you think about Aidan O'Connell. Then what you do is you say, all right, Aidan, thank you very much. We'll send you to another team and wish you the best of luck. I love Aidan. He's a stand-up guy. He's a hell of a dude. But at the end of the day, when you make this show, when you're a Raider fan, it's the shield above all. It's just win, baby. And Aidan O'Connell being the quarterback 3 does not help this team. Trading him away and getting extra draft picks, or maybe having an extra player for a little bit of depth, that does help the team, which is why I believe if the Raiders take Penix or Jayden Daniels, they could trade away AOC.